Thank you so much for joining today's session. I'm Lucy, one of the implementation consultants with AutogenAI. So the good news is a recording of this webinar will be sent out afterwards to all those who attended, so you can always catch up on anything that I skimmed over quickly. And we also really want to encourage you to ask questions as you go. We have our expert here on the call, Cameron Brown. So to do that, you just need to click the Q&A question mark bar in the bottom of your Zoom chat. If it's not there, you can click the three dots and it should appear, and you can just start asking questions as soon as they come to you. But before I dive in and share my screen, I want to acknowledge what brought you here today. So, some proposal teams are using AI to draft faster. We're learning that that's the norm now. But what's really exciting is that top teams, the ones achieving the real results, are using AutoGen AI to actually win more. And last year, proposal teams using our software, using AutoGen AI, achieved a 12.4% revenue growth. Their competitors experienced a 7.1% decline, which really is no small difference when it comes to gaining new business. And that really is the difference between thriving and struggling in what is becoming an increasingly competitive market today. So, the purpose of this webinar is for me to show you exactly what these high-performing teams are doing within AutoGen AI to drive these results. I'm going to walk you through the platform and I'll show you some real workflows, and you can see what's actually possible when you move beyond generic AI tools and into something purpose-built for your proposal teams. So, exciting times. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just find the right window. You should all now be able to see that. You are welcomed into our AutoGen AI interface. So let's just kick off with some platform geography and a high-level tour. So on the left-hand side, you've got multiple features and even some bonus features under that, all designed specifically for bid writers, bid managers, and those in the proposal process. So at the top, we have Home. This is your research assistant where you can have a conversation with the AI, select from your source providers, and draw in all sorts of context to make your answers within this feature powerful and strong. You can see some previous sessions that I've got here, all with inline citations taking me to the direct section within the document that I have used to develop that section of the output. So it's really advanced searching and developing using the AI there. Below that, you've got capture here, where you can actually identify and qualify opportunities. Projects you've got here, where collaborative proposal work happens, assigning sections, managing deadlines, and working with your team, all at different statuses that can be updated with due dates and can be viewed in a Kanban format, or tiles, or just a list like so. Assigned if you've been tagged in a particular project, and then drafts. So I'll click into that. It's our proposal personal workspace where you can do individual writing using our enhanced AI functionality. Those are the key features that you'll find yourself living in as you work in AutoGen AI. But below that, we have some super exciting bonus features, including the ideator, where you can actually brainstorm, as it says here, generate ideas and instantly turn them into clear, polished writing, select from a list, and synthesize ideas to your target word count. Hugely powerful functionality there, all cited and sourced as you go through. Extract beneath that allows you to actually pull out from specific files and folders, or those that you upload, critical bid decision information, commissioners' priorities, and so much more, including summaries and shreds. So there's really a lot possible there. Then you've got your recently opened where you can dive into documents and bids, and the library sitting in the background of AutoGen AI. A hugely important part of what makes successful bid writers achieve more within the tool. Having a fleshed out library that's connected to your own integrated platforms such as SharePoint or just uploaded in and of itself allows you to really build out using a context that's true, that's been verified, and that gives the AI that supercharged power to save you so much time. And then when you actually go into Home, which is, of course, the research and drafting hub, you can then draft an answer to a question or a prompt that you can think of. I'll show you here with one I wrote earlier. Something I might want to do in home, a summary of the RFP document, extracting the following and being presented in a table. I have the option to choose Pro to favour quality over speed using our powerful agentic AI, or to turn this feature off for the purposes of demonstrating where I can get that faster response. In my source providers, I can actually go into the library by unticking all and taking a look at some specific bids that I want to work on, the ITT documents, for example, or the library overall. Apply that selection, and then I can click search. If I didn't have the documents uploaded, I've also got this handy paperclip where I can just drag and drop from my computer, and then I can hit search and it will go away and do that work for me, presenting it exactly as I asked with citations in each of the lines. And then from there, I can actually take this over to a draft, give it a title, and start working on it in an editing format. So, and without touching anything, I'm given my results here in a working document style. So that's just one way to get started using our home feature. And you can imagine just how detailed I can get by asking follow-up prompts to really detail what's possible within the tool. But let's take a look at how I might get started in just a few clicks using our projects and workflow tool. So to get started here, I could hit new project, and then I'm presented with some options on which type of workflow I want to do. And this is all based on whether the bid is structured in a set of requirements, particularly for US customers, or for questions, more common in the UK or in Europe when writing bids. I give it a title based on the bid that I'm working on, click confirm, and then I'm told to upload my RFP documents. And it really is as simple as that. I simply drag and drop the documents that I want it to analyze, and I can generate a draft outline with key insights in seconds. So I decided to prepare one before to show you the flow. Let's take a look. So you'll see here at the start, just as I showed you before, we've got the RFP documents with the particular files that I wanted to analyze uploaded. And then without me having to do any extra work, I'm presented with these four outputs. An analysis, which has all 37 pages that I uploaded broken down into these key summary headings. So this is the actual text on the left to allow me to verify my outputs on the right at any point. I can then drop into each of these boxes and actually see a summary of the project. Scope, all AI generated in this analysis. Contact information, instructions, I've even got the dates in there, details on the scoring methodology. You can imagine when I click into each of these, I'm getting those key early points of research that I need to build up my bid. I can copy and paste sections of this right out or make edits. I can even download the analysis too. But what's super exciting is that once I'm happy with this overview, this preliminary prep stage, I simply click go to suggested outline and it automatically takes me to this proposal section where the questions are given a heading that I can then reorder, update the status of, tag owners and reviewers for from within my team, give a due date, a word limit, and then dive into. So without having to do any extra work, I've simply uploaded the documents, clicked analyze, used my human verification to go through and check that I'm happy with the analysis, and then been given a proposal outline. Just like that, based exactly on what the proposal has asked for or what's listed as requirements in the ITT, making sure I'm missing nothing. And if I wanted to go back and check, it's also using AI, developed both a checklist and a matrix of everything I need to cover. So I can see here in this checklist, it tells me a link to the section, so I can refer back to that checklist item. I can go through and check to make sure I've done each of these on the list, ensuring that our proposals that are submitted are completely compliant. And I even get this matrix listing the type of requirement and the location to ensure comprehensive compliance by tracking requirement locations within the compliance matrix. All a huge amount of manual work that would typically have to be done by an individual, whereas here you just need someone to go back through and check, but you have the AI doing a huge amount of the legwork for you, and you can then export out to CSV. I also have the option at this point, in spite of having a populated library that me and my team will have worked on that has, high grade scoring responses, case studies, examples, and marketing materials. I may also have bid specific research or white papers that I want to upload purely for this bid. And to do that, I simply go into the resources tab, which is specific to this project. I can then upload the documents that I need to support my outputs. Once I'm in the proposal, this outline point of view, I can click into one of the documents and I see I'm presented with even more options and functionality to build out a draft in really quite a short space of time, given how long this would typically take bid writers. So I get presented with this storyboard function. This has all been generated automatically by the AI. I'm given a clear overview of the writing assignment, including word limit, which I can then edit, and a page limit. I can also assign specific team members to this section. I get the option to actually build out a first draft by simply clicking this button based on the storyboard. Prior to doing that, I might go through and edit, refine, or at least cast my eye over the AI generated requirements. Tells me exactly what the bid requires. Can minimize any contextual notes. Again, all pulled from those initial RFP docs that I uploaded. Evaluation criteria. I can then add in a win theme plan, buyer's expectations, and so on. Extra guidance. And again, that paperclip icon in order for me to actually pull in from my library or from those additional resources that I added. So the AI here is really encouraging you to, again, use your human expertise to just cast your eye over everything needed to ensure that you're not just prompting the tool, you're actually contextualizing the answer in advance so that when you hit generate first draft, the output on the left is much more likely to be close to the point you need it to be, as I've given it so much information on the right. Multiple stages, you're encouraged to help the AI to deliver a high quality answer. Once I'm at this point, you're encouraged to still refine and edit further. So you can highlight sections that you want to perhaps enhance even more. You're then presented with this Ask AI box where you can type in another prompt, add more evidence, for example, build on this section. And this time it's using your library. When I click the Ask AI feature, I'm presented with three options. So unlike usual AI tools, which work in a more conversational thread, you're actually presented with options as though you'd got 1, 2, 3 writers working on the project at the same time to improve. You can then scan through the responses, select the one that suits you best and that uses the most appropriate sources, and choose based on how many words or characters it's actually increased the text by. Once I'm happy, I can put my cursor in an appropriate point to enter that text or highlight if I want to replace. I can scan through and select the option I like and simply hit this left-hand arrow to insert that text. So you can see how in such a short space of time you can actually embed your answer with cited sourced information based on the AI generations. You have the option at this point as well to refine even further. So working with Autogen AI is like this super powered search engine that not only takes a look at everything that it would be finding relevant for your bid, it also allows you to control where and when exactly you want that edited and entered into the text. So Ask AI is super powerful functionality that lives in your working document. When you highlight text, it's not just Ask AI that you can use to transform it. You also get presented with this list of transformations. You can see the drop down arrow here to see just how much our team has thought of as being a bid specific function that you'd want to do. I'll call out reduce word and character count as it's one of my favorites. You simply select it here. It tells me how much text I've selected in terms of a word or character count, and then I can reduce it down section by section to make sure I'm always adhering to the output goals in terms of word count, as opposed to having to deal with too much AI and not knowing what to do with it as deadlines get closer. I've got the show difference function here too, so I can see exactly where the AI has changed my text. And then I can simply insert it into the text. So you can see as I highlight the text, I get presented with these drop-down menu of functions, for which there really is so many. Or I can use the same menu up here, mirrored, without having to use the inline menu. So it's really personal preference. There's a question mark outlining what all of these functions is able to do. And then another one of my favorite features is the document history sort of tracker there, where you get these auto saves throughout your working process. So if you insert a piece of AI that you're not happy with and you just think, oh, I want to get back to that previous one, you can simply select it there. Once you're finished with your work, you can export to templated documents or InDesign projects, ensuring that you maintain your company's standards in terms of how you always format your text. It will automatically put the document into those so you can actually make use of that additional time save there. The other useful thing about Autogen AI is that we've embedded tons of learning, prompting, skill guides, academy features into your help menu here. You can contact our support, visit training webinars, prompting guides, and just so many resources to help you get the most out of Autogen AI and AI in general. It really is that thought leadership space when it comes to prompting. So you can take a look here at this prompting guide that I preloaded from that menu, which actually tells you how to design prompts for bid writing specifically. You also have the power to weave in wind themes, work with Excel spreadsheets, building out, pre-qualification questionnaires in just a couple of clicks. So we really have honed into every part of the bid process, building it out based on bid management, bid writing, and reviewing. See here, that overview. And when I'm actually in a document, I showed you storyboard, I showed you write. You can also do a gamma review. So you can actually check compliance, win plans, and predefine criteria and get suggestions for how to improve your text on the left using these enhanced AI features that are based on the documents of the bid, previously written work, and just general review criteria that you would be expected to adhere to when writing a super advanced bid. So there you have it. Autogen AI in a nutshell. It really is just the start. There's so much possible, as you can see within this tool, selecting source providers and enhancing your library to inform the AI being one of the most. So I am just going to go into the Q&A, see if there are any questions to read out. I'll pause for a brief moment to allow you to type anything should something have come up. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining. A reminder that you will be sent the recording of this webinar to rewatch and to take a look at how this could support your own bid teams. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining this morning.